Welcome to today's episode of the Group X podcast. I'm your host, Tony Zanato. Today, I'll be talking to Genevieve Rebbechi, trainer and presenter for Les Mills Asia Pacific. When you're there, you're there. You know, that feeling that you just can't explain? When you lose yourself in the moment? You want them to feel what you feel? Yeah, we chat about that. So grab your favourite beverage, sit back and enjoy the show. Jen, welcome to the Group X podcast. It's so good to see you.
Thanks, Tony. It's actually Genevieve now.
No way. Okay. Should I start that again? I know I'm serious with that. We can go on. And
look, I don't mind.
What do you prefer? What do you prefer to be called?
Look, just earlier this year, I have. Look, I don't want to use the word transitioned because that is just not the word.
Yeah.
But I have, I guess, reclaimed.
Yep.
My full name, and I'm no longer using Jen. And
I totally respect where you're coming from.
I just had like this. I was like at a retreat, and I was just like sitting coloring in something one day, and I just like suddenly was like, it just like suddenly popped into my head, and I'm like, why am I still like getting called Jen? Because I really like my name.
Yep.
Like Genevieve's a great name.
Yeah.
But I've always shortened it because it's easier for other people.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Totally.
And I was like, why am I changing myself? Or why am I changing my name for other people? But then I suddenly saw a huge parallel, like between how I was changing that and how that could, like, therefore be me changing myself for other people, and how if I could just do the short thing of just switching my name back to how it could be, how that could also impact me as a person.
That's huge.
Yeah. It was just like this little epiphany I had one day.
Do you mind if we keep
really
this in?
Empowering.
Do you mind if we keep this in?
No, not at all.
I would love to just continue on with this because there's something in that I believe that listeners will gel with. So I'm so happy to keep this whole conversation in there and keep it going.
Yeah.
And have it just real of what it is. I'm embarrassed that I didn't know beforehand, but you and I haven't chatted before this, so I wouldn't have known in that regard. But
exactly.
I thank you for sharing that. That's huge. That's a big.
All right.
That's a realization, and I think it's relevant to a lot of people out there.
Yeah, I think it is. And the funny thing was, I came back from the retreat, and because we didn't have phone service while we were away, and one of the first things I did was I text my parents.
Yep.
And so I tell my dad, I'm like, so I've decided I'm no longer going to be using Jen. I'm going to be using Genevieve. And Dad's like, oh, that sounds really good. Genevieve's a really nice name.
This is your dad.
My dad, my
I
birth
love that.
father.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'd hope you'd think so.
Yeah.
You were responsible for naming me. So funny.
Oh, I love that. Hey, on that, what nationality are you?
Look, my family's been in Australia for like 4 generations.
Okay.
But before that, it was like Italian / French.
I was going to say, Rebbechi to me is the Italian, like Zanato. Yeah, I'm full.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dad's the Italian, mum's fair income Aussie, although we found out recently that it's Danish as well as Norwegian and something else and Scottish.
Ooh.
And God, I'm like the Heinz variety on mum's side, but dad's side is the full blown wok.
I'm gonna think that next time I use my ketchup.
Yeah.
Put some
tone on there. But no, it's just recently because mum's doing this whole family tree thing and sort of tracing it all back, and I believe she's had some DNA testing thing done, and she wanted to find out what bloodlines and all that kind of stuff. And it was really fascinating to hear that. We just thought we were, garden variety Aussie, with a splashback of English type in there. But when she's traced it all through, there's like eight different varieties.
Wow.
So we are really Heinz. It's interesting.
Isn't that amazing that they can do that?
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, hey, I want to ask you about group fitness. Well, you and I could sit here and chat about our lives and all that kind of stuff and get to know each other. But let's dive into the group exercise industry and where we originally obviously met with that. But how did you stumble across the group exercise industry? Where did your journey begin?
Okay, so look, fitness wise, I was a fat child. So
Yep.
for the listeners, Tony just rose.
Yes, I was about to say that. Tony's over sitting here nodding and putting his hand up, going, "Yeah, he was playing tennis, and was a bit of a porker." Yep.
Yeah, I'm not one of those ones who was doing athletics in primary school.
Yep.
So not much fitness at all during school. I danced.
Yep.
I really, really enjoyed dancing. But there was not really any fitness, or typical inverted commas fitness per se. However, one of my best friends had gone to the leisure centre across the road from us, from our high school, probably from about the age of 16, and she went and did Les Mills classes all the time. And as soon as she had the opportunity, once we left high school, she became an instructor, and she was teaching body combat, body attack, body set, everything.
Yep.
And we were best friends. We ended up becoming housemates throughout all of the things I did post high school.
Yep.
When it got to one of the many points I got to where it was like, what do I do with my life? She just turned to me and she said, well, look, how about you do your Cert 3 in fitness and you become a body jam instructor? And prior to that, the times that I'd done body jam, it was when body jam was transitioning from being its separate track to where Gandalf was taking over.
Yep.
So when I had gone previously, I was like, this isn't a dance class. This is this is flip kicks and an attempt at a chest isolation. I don't know what's happening. A grapevine. This is not dancing.
Yep.
But it had just started to change.
Yep.
And I think I just needed a little bit of validation from, I guess, my friend to say that, and also just permission to say that, you'd be good at this and you should do it. So I went, oh, okay, I'll go do it. So I went and did my Cert 3.
I love it. What release of Jam did you I should be stupid. It was Jam that you went was your first program.
Yes, Jam was
what release did you learn on?
I trained on Body Jam 34.
Okay, what are we up to now?
That was Gandalf's full release that is in the format that it's kind of now in, and that it's stayed in for this amount of time.
What are we up to?
We are up to Body Jam 101.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's a good almost 70-odd releases that you've been part of. Sorry, did I make you feel old when I said that?
No, I've been teaching since I was 10.
Yeah, sure. Yep. So people at home, they're playing along. 70 divided by 4 equals... Tony, shut up.
My friend from high school, yeah.
Yeah, it's like we'll count them as dog years, because that's easier. Then there's more releases than 4 in a year. So this is the Group X podcast. How was the training for you back then? How did you tell us about your experience with training?
Look, the training itself, I ended up having some intense surgery about 3 weeks before the training. So I didn't know if I was going to actually end up being able to do the training.
Oh, wow.
Look, the majority of people out there probably have seen a huge scar on my head.
Yep.
I don't hide that. I have had brain surgery, so that kind of came out of nowhere.
Okay.
Me needing to have that surgery.
Yep.
And
I did not know that. I've seen the scar, but I didn't know. I didn't know what it was. So I'm grateful for you sharing that here with me now.
Yeah. So I randomly had a seizure one evening.
Yeah.
And same best friend found me having this seizure, freaks out as you do, calls 000.
Yeah.
They do a CT scan, go, there's something there. We don't really like what we see.
Yeah.
We're going to do an MRI. You should probably call her parents. So they do an MRI. They say, there's something there. We don't really know what it is. We're going to like have a meeting with all of the people and decide what we're going to do. Go home with your parents for a few days. So
Okay.
I went home with my parents. So maybe, I don't know, this happened maybe on a Sunday. I went home, like went back to my parents' house.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe about 2-3 days later, they called and said, well, we think the best thing is that we don't really know what it is, but the best thing is for us to open you up, to go in, have a look, and work it out, because there's something there, but we don't know what it is.
For those listening and not watching, I think Tony's jaw is a little bit I'm catching flies at the moment, and wow, you've been through thank you for sharing.
Oh,
yeah, I know you said that some people may know, but there's probably a lot that don't know as well. But I know that can be very it's insightful into your life and can be very you're putting yourself on the line by saying it as well, as in not for judgment or anything like that, but it's a personal thing that you're sharing with us. So I'm going to say thank you so much for sharing that with us. I know it can be quite confrontational as well, so I appreciate
not
it.
At all.
But obviously, did they find anything?
So they found a tumor that was about the size of a golf ball. They said it could have been there since I was a baby. Like I'd never done anything like fallen off my bike or hit my head so as to have had any kind of scan on my head to know otherwise. I also had excess skull, which I don't know. I think that just makes me like a superhero or something. So they ground down.
Yep.
Here's just fun for people at home. They ground down part of my skull, and they managed to scoop out most of the tumor. The tumor was benign, so that's the good one.
Yeah.
If you're going to have a tumor, you might as well have a
benign
one.
Yeah.
So they scooped it out. They couldn't get all of it because it was quite close to my optic nerve. But they got the majority of it, and then were like, oh, well, we're actually pretty happy with what we were able to do. Yeah. And then they sealed me back up again.
Just zip it and then away you go.
Yep. Stapled it back up and then on your way.
Wow. So that happened 3 weeks prior to you doing body gym training.
3 weeks, 5 weeks.
5 weeks.
5 weeks.
Okay.
I think
my God.
3 weeks might have been a bit of a...
No, that's right. I could have got it wrong there as well, but that's right. Someone will probably play back and go, no,
I
Tony.
think I did say 3 weeks earlier.
Yeah.
I was maybe reaching.
That's right. That's huge. That's a massive surgery that you've gone through at a young age as well, then to turn around and go and, I'll be right. Yeah, I'm going to go and do this training course. Yeah, sweet. You'll be right. Don't worry. I just don't have a bit of hair there. Don't, whatever. We're good. But, I'm sweet.
I remember practicing body gym in my lounge room at my parents' house because I just stayed with my parents afterwards because I couldn't drive afterwards after having the surgery. Excuse me. And because I'd obviously borrowed the release from my friend because this was a time when you didn't get it until you went to the training, but I had to go in knowing it 100%.
I understand, and I think most of us do.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the training itself, like my training was with Marina Digby. And I don't know if I knew her at the time or if I'd met her in passing, but I think I sent her an email just saying, look, this is the situation. I don't 100% know how I'm going to go.
Yep.
But like, I'm feeling pretty good. that maybe like if it's possible to not have a track that's too crazy,
Yeah.
then that would be great. But if that can't be organized,
Yeah.
then I completely understand.
Yeah.
So she gave me the warm up.
Yep.
And then
which is
I
still
went
for
there.
us that aren't dancers. A warm up in jam is still
We're still dancing.
We're still doing something. We're still moving, and there's a left and a right when Tony has two lefts.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And look, I taught the warm up, and she was like, "Yeah, okay, you like this is too easy for you. I'm giving you something
You're
else
gonna go harder.
tomorrow."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Track 11, yeah, times 100. Yeah, that's what
She
we're
was like,
doing.
No. And I don't know. I recovered really, really well.
Yeah.
Like physically, I recovered really well. Like as a result of the surgery, it's kind of hard to know like what came first, the chicken or the egg.
Yep.
But I do have epilepsy now.
Yep.
After having the surgery.
Yeah.
And that's been ongoing since then. And is now controlled with medication.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say. And not referring it to my dog. My beagle has epilepsy as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's what, 9, 10 now? Turning 10 in November. And for the first 2 years he was fine, and then he had a really bad fit, and then he started having twice a year, and then it started to get really intense. And weirdly enough, what medication do you take for your epilepsy?
And look, what don't I take? I take about 4 different ones.
Righto. So he's on, I think it's called Phenomaz. Oh, now I can't bloody remember. Anyway, the one he's taking is the same as what they give to humans as well. And luckily, touch wood, he hasn't had one in 2.5 years now.
Oh, that's great.
Because his medication is spot on. But yeah, it's seizures. Seizures are not a nice thing to see happen when you feel completely useless. And I'm only saying that from people that I've seen even adults and people have seizures. I can only imagine what you're going through when you're having a seizure as well. That would be horrific. Yeah, it's not a nice experience to watch or be involved in at all. But
no, that's definitely not something I would wish upon anybody.
No. So have you ever had an epileptic episode when you've been teaching, or has anything like that ever happened, or does teaching?
There's been a couple of times, like more so towards the start, like nothing's happened in like quite a while, because it's pretty well managed nowadays.
Yeah.
But there was once when I was teaching, not my class, I was teaching elsewhere, so I was probably already a bit nervous.
Yeah.
And things like stress and nerves and that all kind of are triggers.
Yeah.
Or can trigger extra things for me.
Yeah.
So I was teaching somewhere I didn't normally teach. And I remember being on stage and just everything just starting. I'm really lucky in that I get warning before I'm going to have fully drop and have like what people see as a seizure.
Yes.
So I get warning beforehand, and I just went basically blank and was just like I lose cognitive skills.
Yes. Yeah.
So I can't talk.
Yeah.
Or if I do say something, it's the wrong words come out.
Yeah.
And I get very confused.
Yeah.
And I had a whole group of people like in front of me. I think I was teaching a body attack class or something.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there were a couple of people there that knew me and knew that I had it, and just kind of got people out of there.
I remember teaching a RPM class in North Sydney Fitness First. I'm going to say it was probably 2008, 2009, 6:15 or 6:05, whatever it was, doesn't matter, Tuesday morning. And we got to the third track, and a lady had an epileptic fit while still on the bike.
Oh my God.
Fell to the side. She was still trapped in the toe straps of the bike. I didn't realise what was going on, and people were yelling out, and this is while we're still trying to do a mountain climb. I flicked the lights on, and I was like, oh, right, stopped the track, got everybody out of the room. A couple of us helped to move her away so she wasn't able to hurt herself any more than what had already happened while she was in there. We found out that she hadn't had dinner the night before or breakfast, and the the exercise had induced or had brought on the fit in that way. And it was, it's a hard thing to as I said before, hard thing to watch, but hard thing to really comprehend what that person's going through at that as well. And the best thing you can do from bystander is just to make sure that person's not able to hurt themselves. And
exactly.
Just it will stop. There's nothing you can do. Don't try and restrain them or anything like that. You've just got to make sure that they're safe, and they will. I believe that after a certain period of time, it does. Ease is the word I'm trying to use, but I don't want to use that word. But it does subside, doesn't it? It'll stop after a certain while. It just has to run its course, and yeah. Well, but again, thank you for sharing that as well. That's here we are. This is a very personal chat that I didn't think was going to go down there. But thank you really for sharing that. It's a personal thing, and I'm grateful that you feel confident and comfortable to share that with us. So yeah, thank you very much.
It's all right.
This is the Group X podcast. So let's get back into where we were. What I was going to ask you with relation to how did learning choreography go for you? Did you pick that up really easily? And was the content in the course, did you sort of go, yeah, I can do this? Or was it a struggle?
I think it was relatively, I didn't find it too difficult.
Yep.
I think I had been participating in some classes before that, not necessarily body jam, because like I said, I thought body jam was that point was a bit silly.
Yep.
So I'd mostly been going to my friends' body combat classes and maybe some body attack classes here and there.
Yep.
So I understood the concept of like the choreography, and I mean, I'd done dancing for so many years that and especially with how Gandalf choreographs his moves to music, everything just makes so much sense in how it is structured to the music, that wasn't something that I struggled with all that much.
Yep. Brilliant. How was teaching your first class by yourself? How did that, talk us through that experience if you can remember?
Oh, look, I don't remember the specific one. It would have been to about, I remember my friend gave me a class.
Yep.
But you know, they move on.
Yes. Yeah.
You get to take over their class.
Yeah.
And I got to take over her Monday morning class. It was to about 5 people.
Yep.
But there was the most loveliest 5 people.
Yep.
And I was scared, you know what list.
Yep. We can say shit on here. It's okay.
Okay, so I was scared shitless.
Yep.
But I don't know. I think it was just a blur. Funnily enough, not very long ago, probably it would have been sometime during lockdown, I came across my certification video and I lost it. It was the most hilarious thing I've ever watched in my entire life, and like took a video of it and I was sending it to my friends. I'm like, oh my God, listen to me. I'm hilarious. Like, I'm just like, turn this world around. Yeah, everybody. Step touch. It was terrible.
I love it. That's raw, but it's so good because it shows the evolution of you. Yeah, where we all start at one place, and that's gold.
Oh, and I thought it was amazing.
You've got to put that on YouTube and share it for everybody to see.
Turn the world around. I'm trying to think what song it was, but it was a song that did say "Turn the world around."
I love it. I love it.
And my voice, I don't know what was happening with my voice.
Look, I got to say, I totally respect people that can dance. Yeah, I'm the side tap person. You know, that's my era. That's where I sort of come from. Weirdly enough, and I've shared this with a couple before, that I wanted to do ballroom dancing when I was younger. It never eventuated for whatever reason. I don't know why. Whether mum and dad just didn't sort of, encourage it or whatever it was, or I wasn't vocal enough about it for mum and dad to sort of go, yeah, okay, let's go do this. But when I first, you go out night clubbing and all that kind of stuff, and you got a couple of drinks in you, I can dance and whatever, and everyone's that pissed that it doesn't really matter. You're not really dancing. You're just shuffling around a dance floor and, mingling, whatever. The first time that I really did a dance class as such was a Zumba class back when I was a group
Yep.
fitness manager at North Sydney Fitness First. Zumba had sort of just come out then, and we went to Bondi the Edge, I think it was, for a Zumba class with Maria Teresa Stone, I think it is, who was the and we were all in the class. There was 40 of us or whatever it was, and we're all trying to follow along to what she's doing. And I was up the back of the room with Andrew Taylor and I think it was Emily Gillies at that time. And Andrew and I we're next to each other because we've known each other for years and looking at each other as if to say, dude, what are we doing? And I remember Maria Teresa Stone come up behind me and no, Tony, your hips need to swing. They need to do this. And my hips are just moving side to side, like, in a straight line type thing. There's no movement. There's no motion of the ocean going on there whatsoever. And there's nothing at all I can do. I'm grateful that I probably never trained in ballroom dancing because could you imagine? Yeah, you can picture. I just painted a picture for you.
Across the floor, Tony, come on.
Only if I'm wearing a dress, yeah.
Now, what colour dress would you be wearing?
Look, it's probably be blue. That's my favourite colour, so,
Some feathers around the bottom?
Yeah, probably, yeah. My long flowing hair, as you can tell from here. Yeah. But no, getting back on track there, I think anybody that can dance, I respect you guys so much because it's, for me, that has two left feet, it's a challenge. And looking at what Gandalf does and looking at how you guys trainers and when you're teaching classes, I'm in awe. I'm dead set in awe because I look at it and go, I'd love to, but there's no chance in hell that I could ever do it. I look at it and go, I know that I understand the programs are layered, so you start with the basics. I wouldn't even get the basics. I love it though. I think it's, as I said, I think it's brilliant that you guys can do it, and anyone that can dance. The enjoyment that I see. I remember the Danceapalooza in Melbourne. I think it was the last year that we had the Filex or the big fitness convention down in Melbourne before it was before it came back to Sydney. And I was working for Les Mills and we were upstairs in a VIP area with clients, and Danceapalooza started and we're looking out this window and watching it. We all ran downstairs because they all wanted to be part of it. I just stood in the corner and sort of did the whole, But the energy and the excitement from everyone and just watching everyone dance there was like 700 odd people in that space, if not more from memory. But it was just amazing to see and be part of the energy in the room, even though I wasn't doing the side tap at the back.
It is. It's such an amazing thing to see, like, I don't know, to see like everyone just getting lost in this, like, and I mean, especially at that massive level, but just getting completely just like lost in, like, I mean, like the essence of body jam is to get lost in the sensation of dance, which like that's exactly what happens. Like, it's
so different now. When I say it's different, to me it's so different to pump, it's so different to RPM, it's so different to grit, it's so different to core. They are training modalities that are specific in that way. And yes, dance is specific in what it offers, but seeing people shed all inhibition and get in there and give it a go, that's what I love seeing. There's people like me that cannot dance to save their lives, but are in there giving it a go. And there's like that meme I remember seeing, what you think you look like and what you actually look like. And I think it's a picture of, I can't remember his name now. He's God, the pet detective.
Yeah, I'm terrible at remembering names, but I know who you mean.
Yeah, I just can't think of his. Anyway, he's dressed up and he's got a dress on, and it's just so.
Jim Carrey?
Yes, Jim Carrey. Yes, yeah. There's that meme that it's this is an amazing dancer on this side, and then there's a picture of Jim Carrey over this side wearing a dress, and you just think, that's totally Tony. That's me. But I love that everyone can get in and give it a go, though. I think it's brilliant that it does what it does and engages so many different personalities, nationalities. It's got a massive purpose. It's got more of a reach, I believe, than a pump class or than a cycle class or whatever it may be, because it's yeah, you've got to be coordinated to a certain degree, but at the same time you don't, and you can just get in and have a shitload of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, you really can.
I think from memory, and I know this isn't Les Mills stuff, it's Zumba, but I think the first Zumba class we did at North Sydney was a Friday night, 5:30, and I believe we had champagne prior. Because it was a way to go, hey, it's Friday night, we're going to have a boogie, here's your, it was more of a nip of champagne than anything else, and threw it down, and they got in there and had some fun. It was, it's a way to do it.
But I pretty much guarantee you that before that Dancerpalooza, Gandalf made us have shots.
Yeah.
It would have...
You relax.
Like a shot.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
There were not multiple shots. But like a shot would have been had. A bottle
each.
Like it was just like, No, that was afterwards.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. And then you kept dancing but just weren't on stage. Yeah. This is the Group X podcast. So what other programs are you trained in as well?
So after Body Jam, a few months later, I trained in Body Attack.
Yep.
And then Body Attack, then somewhere, can't remember the timeline. Trained in Body Combat, trained in Body Vive, and it was Body Vive.
Yep.
Shabam.
Do you have a favourite?
So I've not finished my program.
Oh, sorry. How dare I interrupted?
I'm trained in Body Balance, Born to Move, Les Mills Bar. I think that's it.
That was close to 10 then.
It's not 10, definitely not 10. I think I started on my second finger.
Okay. You didn't have to take your shoes and socks off like James did the other week.
Yeah.
At the time of you and I chatting to this, James's episode hasn't gone out yet, so yeah, it'll make sense to you once that episode goes live. Oh wow! So, do you have a favourite though? I know I'm not meant to ask that question because
Body Jam.
You do,
yeah, it's Body Jam.
What is it? What is it about Body Jam that you love?
I love that not only do I get to lose myself in what is happening, but that I see the people in front of me lose themselves in what is happening. And they get to go, like, as a group of people, we all get to go somewhere that we wouldn't otherwise. And we all get to feel I don't know, I can't even find the right words without sounding like an idiot. Like
the thing is, you don't.
I almost feel like there are times where we go on a bit of a spiritual journey together.
No, look, I respect that and understand that. I get that completely. Yeah, I get that. I totally understand that. There's nothing more that needs to be said around that. I understand that completely. When you've got people in front of you that are there with you in that moment, and it's a 45-minute, 6-minute, however long the journey is, the duration of the track or the duration of the class. When you're there, and you know what we're talking about. Yeah, and I'm sure that there are trainers out there listening that get that as well.
Yeah,
that when you're there, you can't explain it. It just happens.
No, it's just like everyone is just connected, and it's just like this massive, it turns into like a little ball of energy that you've got that just like grows and grows, and like everyone's like all got it, and it's all just like
that just
going
nuts. I just went
it finishes, and everyone's just like, whoa, what just happened?
I remember having to pay for that. I remember having to pay for that Euphoria back in 1998.
Exactly. And it's like 7 p.m. on a Friday night, and then you can go home
and then I can go home and have to I'm not sitting there coming down on a Tuesday. Oh dear, I've shared too much. The old Tony's popping back in. Oh dear.
That's what I was doing in 1998 too, Tony.
I'm not alone, and I'm sure there's more of us out there that some people will be giggling now, reminiscing, going, yeah, I remember that. 98, I was, oh, hang on, yeah. No, okay, we can't discuss that.
Had some pretty good outfits.
Yeah. The bits that I can remember were good. That's all I will say on that. Insert ad break here. This is the Group X podcast. Why do you teach group exercise?
I think, look, it comes back to me doing it, I guess, because I want people to feel what I feel when I exercise.
Yep.
And when I move to music.
Yep.
And I mean, the majority of what I do is dance. And I guess a lot of it started with that. But then even when I teach, I'm not teaching anything other than dance programs at the moment, but when I did teach like things like tone and body attack, then still it was still the same. Like, I mean, my body attack class was not 100% in the essence of body attack.
Yep.
But it was, just wanting other people to get the same experience that I get from exercise, and just really wanting them to feel the joy
Yep.
of exercise, as opposed to it being a chore.
Yeah.
And it being something that, I don't know what the right word is. But yeah, doing it because they like it,
yeah,
or doing it to fall in love with it.
Yep.
So they'll come back and do it again.
And do it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
because that's not something that I had.
Yeah, I totally respect that though, and I think that's an honest response as well. It's you're passing it on to others to get them hooked, but enjoy what they're doing. So it's not, as you're saying, it's not a chore. It's not I've got to go to the gym tonight. It's, I want to go to the gym tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not, I've got to do this because, no. I want to do this because. It's that difference of mindset and looking at it in a different way. And I think that is a powerful thing as an instructor as well, to be able to connect with your participants in that way, to realize that, as we all do, and most instructors, I'm going to assume, will have gone through this, when we first start teaching, it's very much us. I'm teaching, you're coming to my class, this is what we're doing, let's go, we've got to do this, this is what's got to be done. Then at some point along our journey, it changes. It's not I want you to do this, but it's like, let's do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. The terminology changes and the focus changes. It's not so much an internal thing anymore, but it's an external. Oh, this is going to sound really bizarre when I say this. It's an external internal. Does that make sense? Does in my head.
I think I get where you're going.
Yeah, it's a you're doing it for them moment.
Yeah.
That, it's no longer about me being up here teaching and all that kind of stuff. It is, I'm doing this to help you on your journey, and I want to be able to help you do this and do the right thing. We take it completely away from I'd probably say the first year or so of when we're teaching. It's all about, oh, I did that really well. Yeah, I nailed that. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, cool. You guys really enjoyed it. Yeah. But it's very us.
Mm-hmm.
We get there and then all of a sudden it's very them. And as you're saying, when you have those moments of everybody coming together and having that moment with you for that hour or whatever it is, and you're on that journey and you've had that experience with everybody in the moment, that you get lost in that moment. That's when you know that, I believe, you've made it as an instructor. You're connecting with your members and your why really comes through and shines, which is that what I class as the magic moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it's really, really relevant on why we do what we do and that having that moment. I want to ask you then how the opportunity came up for you to become a trainer presenter.
Okay. So for me, like, I'd kind of done, I think, what a lot of instructors that get keen on getting, like, on just learning more do. Like I was going around to everyone's classes that I could learn more from, teaching with whoever I could. I'd gone along to quite a lot of Anne Marie's classes, and she was just on the team at that point in time.
Yep.
And then later became whatever it was called at
Yep.
that point in time.
Yep.
Wasn't a head program coach then, but
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
whatever it was
Yeah.
back then. But some point along that path, they must have asked her if she knew of anybody in Melbourne that would be good for the team.
Yep.
And because this is just how stuff worked back then.
Yep.
It was just word of mouth.
Yes.
And she said myself and somebody else could be like potential candidates.
Yep.
And so myself and this other person were asked to submit a video. We had to fill out an application form. We had to send a video of us teaching, an application form, and a video of ourselves saying why we should,
Wow.
or why we would be,
Yeah.
like good on like the team. Like there was a whole bunch of stuff,
Yep.
and we had to do it really quickly as well.
That's
We had a
confronting.
very
isn't
short
it?
amount of time. Yeah, it was. It was really exciting, but
Yeah.
it was also like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we talked together quite a bit. So we sent a video of the two of us teaching. We sent our own forms back.
Yep.
And whatever else. Anyway, that went to Kylie Gates.
Yep.
That all went through. She was happy enough with it, and we got invited to go along to what we thought was some kind of like training day
Yep.
just before Philex in, I think it must have been 2009.
Yep.
And we thought it was going to be us two, Anne Marie, and maybe a couple of other people.
Yep.
With like, I don't know. We didn't really know what was going to go on. We show up, and Gandalf and Rachel are there. Kylie is there.
No pressure.
Michelle's wandering around. The entire like Australian and Southeast Asian like team
Presenter
that were
team.
there for Philex were all there, and it was actually a boot camp day where they were doing a trial run through of AIM 1 for Body Jam. And so me and the other person were like, what? Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Because we were the only people that weren't part of the team.
Yeah.
And we were completely shitting ourselves. Then we found out that we had to present a track. So they thought they'd be nice to us, and they gave us like the short tracks.
Yep.
That were the first two tracks of the class.
Brilliant. Yep. There's the deep end. Just going to push you in.
Yeah, so he and myself like were the first people that had to get up and present.
Oh, wow.
It was like horrifying.
How did it go though? I mean, obviously it went well because you got it. But how?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then like from there, like we had some really great opportunities that weekend. We got to get up and like shadow, like Gandalf was doing like just a demo at the trade show at Philex.
Yeah.
So like we did a few of those.
What an experience.
Which was super cool because we're like, oh my God, it's Gandalf. Yeah. I'm on stage next to him. This is like so cool. Is everybody getting photos of this?
I love that. That's perfect.
The
So
next
were you
thing
quietly
that-
shitting yourself?
100%.
Yep.
100%. And like not necessarily expecting anything to happen from it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
just like really grateful for all of the opportunities.
Yeah.
And I mean that, and even just that training day itself, we learned so much having the opportunity to have that, like the run through of that AIM one with like having training with like Gandalf and Rachel, just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, that stuff you don't,
Yeah.
you like, you don't get.
Yeah.
Like,
the thing I love about that is you're going to remember that forever.
Oh,
yeah,
100%.
That moment
100%. And
because that moment of shitting yourself massively.
Oh, yeah.
But just the adrenaline that would have been going through your body for that as well, and having that experience is oh wow. Yeah, can only imagine.
Yeah.
That's
It was
good on
it
you.
was a lot.
This is the Group X podcast. So was that was the moment that you, after that weekend, that you were virtually, okay, you're on the team, you're part of the.
No, still didn't happen after that.
Oh wow.
Then we got to shadow the next release.
Yeah.
So whatever the one they done at Filex, we got to shadow the Vic Super Workshop.
Yep.
And then which Kylie had attended, and from that she kind of made some decisions and said, okay, next workshop, I'd like you to actually present. And then that's where it
brilliant
kind of started from.
So the right place, the right time, but the right skill set as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of how I figure all of, you know, that stuff kind of happens. The universe offers you some opportunities at some stage, and it's up to you as to what you're going to do with them.
Yeah, totally. I respect you saying that so much. I honestly believe things happen for a reason. Yeah. We this is going to sound so deep, and some people are going to go, oh, what the hell? Our life is a book. We're just reading it. Yeah. We think we've got choices. It's like that. We're almost from that same era where the choose your own adventure books were around. We think we're choosing our own adventure. It's already written. Yeah. We just might be choosing the pathway that it goes, but it's already there in front of us, and we're just going to end up in the same place. It's just whether we turn left or right. No matter. It's just going to be a different journey to get there, but it's all predetermined, and we're just going through it every day to get there. So, and those of you that think that I'm weirdo, that's okay. I'm happy if you tune out now. It's all good.
Yeah.
Don't actually care. Not here to be friends with everyone. Yeah. But no, I really do appreciate that you sharing that with us, because it's different to how the process is now. Yeah. My understanding. Yeah. Now there's a boot camp. Now you're invited to come on. You've got to go through AIM 1, AIM 2, however the process is for it. There's more structure, I believe, now than what it was in the earlier days. But in saying that, it doesn't mean that you guys that are on the team and have been on the team for a while haven't had to earn your stripes. It's not like you were just given it and gone, here, it's default. You're here now. You've still had 100%. You still have to keep those stripes. You still have to make sure that what you're delivering every quarterly or every training session or every module you do is on par, because if you're not, they can flick you at any time.
Oh, exactly.
It's yes, okay, I'm a trainer, but at the same time, I still need to be ticking boxes. I still need to self-assess. You still need to go through all those processes that you guys go through to make sure that you're still delivering the high standard that is what is expected of you, but also what you expect of yourself. Yeah. At the same time.
It is. And and it's a lot of work, and we do it because we love it more than anything else. We're not in it for the money. Yeah. Let's be honest, nobody's in group fitness for the money.
We're definitely not.
If anybody has just got into group fitness for the money, you're in the wrong industry. Yep. Sorry, people. Yep.
If someone's paying you decent money, let them continue paying you decent money. Let's say that.
If if someone's paying you lots of money, can you let me know where you're teaching?
Yeah. You may have to change states, but that's okay. That's okay.
But
Oh, wow.
But yeah, like this isn't the kind of industry, you know, that or the profession that we're in for lots of money. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what level you're at.
Yes.
We're all doing it
Yeah. Yeah.
purely because we love it.
Yeah.
And, you know, like the you know, the higher up you get, the more work you have to do
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we are held that much more accountable.
Yeah. It's always, I was chatting to someone recently, and I can't remember if it was James or whether it was, I can't remember who it was now. It could have been Matt Thraxton, but it was a conversation that was relating to, as a trainer and presenter, as a presenter, you're on 4 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 5 if you're lucky. Yeah, maybe there's 4 releases a year. You've got to be on fire. You've got to be peak of everything you're doing 4 times a year. But you still need to make sure that you're peak every single class you're teaching.
Yep.
Because the people that see you week in, week out are as if not more important than the instructors you're in front of 4 times a year.
Definitely.
Yeah, they're on par, or the participants that come to your every Tuesday night class or whenever the class may be are vital, because that's where you make your connections. That's where you're making a difference. That's where you're honing in on your skills to make sure you're top of the pops in that space, so that when you go and do the quarterlies 4 times a year, you know your shit. Yeah.
Right.
You know you're on top. You know you're on top of your game. You know you're delivering the best, so that those instructors can then go and do what you're doing when you're back in club as well.
Yeah.
And deliver that best experience. I say that for any new instructors or instructors that are out there and think, oh, you know, it's okay if you guys screw up on your normal class during the week. It's not. You guys know that in yourselves, that if you have a bad class on a Tuesday night, I'd say Tuesday night because it's Wednesday night tonight, but anyway, Tuesday night, 5:30, let's just say that's the class we're teaching. If you're teaching and you have a bad class that night, your members that are in front of you have had a bad experience, and you don't ever want that to happen. You want to make sure that every time you're doing what you're doing, you're delivering the best experience you possibly can.
Yeah.
Hey, on that, what do you do before presenting? Is there a certain song, or is there a certain something that you do as a ritual? You know, this sounds really weird. Some people have a favorite pair of undies. Some people have a favorite pair of socks. You know, that kind of stuff that they when they're presenting or when they go into quarterly workshops or whatever that. Do you have something that you do or that's unique to you before you get on stage and present?
I take extra medication.
Yeah. Yeah, Tony, I double shot.
Case.
Oh, I love that. I think it was Matt Thraxton that I spoke to when I said this, that I used to, when I was doing stuff for Les Mills, I was traveling around and presenting Group X management seminars, or you go and there'd be a certain seminar here and whatever. I listened to Breathe by The Prodigy. Yeah. Yep. It's just a track that song. It's 5 and whatever minutes it is that I just sit, everything else is out of my head. And it's just that one track that I blare loud in my ears and just sit there and it's like, yep. Finishes, and then I'm like, I walk into the room and I'm present on what's going on. I've probably forgotten what I need to first say when I walk into the room and gotten it out. But it gives me that pump up to go, yeah, righto, I can do this. Yeah, it's that self, I don't know, self-lift or whatever you want to call it. It's just that moment of going, you know what, yeah, let's do this. You can do this, Tone. You can be feeling flat, but it pumps up your tyres and gives you yeah. I love the fact that you double med or you take more medication.
Yeah. And I will go around and I will tell my friends, I'll be like, can you remind me or can you make sure that I've taken them?
Yep.
And it's just that extra way of, like, whether I need them or not, it's just making sure that I know that I'm calm. I make sure I've had water and I make sure I've had some silence beforehand. Like, I might go to the toilet, but then actually just go and sit in the bathroom for like 5 minutes of just
compose,
quiet,
and have you. So
not necessarily music, but I switch off
Yep.
from people
Yeah.
and from the music that I've been listening to
Yeah.
constantly
Yep.
before anything else.
Yeah. That's cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Hey, got some other questions. I write questions down. I never throw them to guess, but I write them down to give me a roadmap on where I want to try and take you with conversation and stuff. What are you doing now? When I say that, I know you're sitting here talking to me. I'm not asking the silly question. I'm asking in your career right now, what are you doing career-wise? Where are you teaching? What's sort of happening with the trainer-presenter space that you're doing?
So I am teaching. I'm just teaching body jam and shabam at the moment. Like 4 classes a week between the two.
Yep.
And
have you got a real job?
I do have a real job.
Stop it! What do you do for your real job?
You would hope so, because I'm only teaching 4 classes.
Well, that's
a week.
what I was like. As soon as you said that, then I was like, "Oh, Tony, you haven't asked this question. What do you? And that comes down to what are you doing? What is your full-time job?"
I work in early childhood education with kindergarten children.
So you're a school teacher, or
I work at a childcare centre.
Okay.
Yeah, with like 3 to 5 year olds.
That's awesome. You get to see the early development of little people.
Yeah,
that
I love it.
Express themselves and have meltdowns over nothing. That that is gold. Yeah. I love that. That's a unique skill set to have to do all day long. And I know I took a bloody long time to say that sentence, but it is. It's that very unique skill set to deal with little people and their meltdowns all day, every day.
They don't just melt down.
Oh no. There's fun moments. I should. Wow, that sounded really bad, didn't it? I didn't. Yeah.
But look, they do.
They do have meltdowns, yeah.
They do have some meltdowns, yeah.
Over that person sat next to me and oh my God, like, yeah. But no, I think that's gold. That's helping little people navigate life, isn't it? At that very early stage and getting them to learn and watching them become them.
Yeah. And, teaching them how to be like just good humans and how to make friends and like just basic life skills that are going to set them up for like the rest of their life and be able to go into like school, which is super scary and has all of like these big kids and like all of these people that they don't know and like all of these rules. And this is like an environment where, they can be super duper comfortable and have some freedom, but allows them to, build some skills on, like even just asking someone, can I play with you?
Yeah.
Like, and, and like learning how to tell someone to stop. I don't like that.
Yep.
And just be kind and accepting of all kinds of different people.
Yep.
And
I love that. You just said something then that set something off in my head, and my daughter saying to me, "Daddy, stop it! I don't like it," because she's my only child, and she's a girl. Obviously, she's not a boy, but I'm a little bit not rough. That sounds like I'm a bad parent. Edit that bit out. But no, I enjoy mucking around with her. Yeah, and I just see it as having a bit of fun, and then I get the whole, "Dad, stop it. That's mean. I don't like it. Stop it. I don't like it." And so I'll say to her, "Stop it. I don't like it." Because I'm that brat of a, yes, I'm a dad, but I'm also, I want to play and I want to, have that bit of fun. But when you said it then, it made me sort of go, wow, yeah, she's learnt all that through daycare and then obviously at school now. And that's when I get that. Maybe I need to sort of back it off a little bit and not be, not torment her as much as Rach says, "Would you stop that? Would you two stop fighting?" Like, I'm not fighting, it's her. She's my angel.
Setting boundaries, Tony.
She's my angel. I'll do anything for her. I got to have some fun with her, make it enjoyable, and But no, but getting back on, I think that it's a skill set you can use in your group exercise classes as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very transferable skill set. You're dealing with different types of people, different types of energy, different types of personalities that are in there.
Yeah.
And it allows, as you said earlier on as well, allows you to have that escapism when you're teaching, to be able to take them on that journey with you to go. And I think that's when you relate it back to kids at school, you're helping them be someone different. You're helping them grow. You're helping them learn. This is the Group X podcast. What does the future hold for Genevieve? What are you doing in the group exercise space? Are there other programs you want to teach? Are you taking on the world and want to be the head program coach? Are you wanting to be on DVD master filming? What are your goals? What have you set for yourself? What do you want to do?
I've been on a masterclass. So I filmed Shabam 39, so the Sydney filmings.
Ah, yes. Yep.
Yeah. I was lucky enough to be able to film Shabam at those ones.
How was that experience for you?
It was so much fun. We just had the best time.
How did that opportunity come up? Rewind me back a little bit. how did the opportunity come up to? How did they ask you? How did that come about?
So I believe that that between the program coaches and the head trainers, they had to put names forward.
Yep.
Or maybe they just sent the entire team,
Yep.
like they sent our pictures or whatever,
Yep.
across to LMI, and they went, this person, this person, this person, this person, and then they chose maybe like 4 of us or something from each program, and we just had to submit a couple of tracks.
Yep.
And then from those, they chose a bunch of us to film. And then if they didn't have enough, they'd be like, oh, we also want to see some more people. Send us some more.
Yeah. Who rang you to tell you that you were going to be on filming?
Johnny.
And
Johnny called me and I screamed in his ear.
I was about to say, how
and
did you
I
react?
am not apologizing at all.
I love that. I actually love that. Was it a scream or a squeal? Or a screamy squeal?
It was probably, I think it was a screamy squeal. Yeah, I remember where I was walking at the time. Yeah.
Brilliant. Who was the first person you called?
It may have been James.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love it.
I think it was probably James.
Yeah.
Because James and I were both waiting to hear about, like we were in constant contact.
Yep.
Because he was waiting to hear back about his programs.
Yeah.
And I was waiting to hear back about mine. So that was just like a daily conversation.
Yeah.
That was happening. So as soon as I found out, I think I called him and I probably screamed in his ear as well.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Love it. How was pre-filming? What was going through your mind? What were you feeling? What was your energy at?
Pre-filming was avoiding cake.
Yep.
Planning tans.
Yep.
Training.
So how was because you guys are in Sydney, if I remember rightly from Rach, you guys are in Sydney for like 4 or 5 days prior to filming. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were going through rehearsals and all of that kind of stuff beforehand and running through the choreo and all what you do prior. How was that week lead up? What was that journey like for you?
It was just like, I thought it would be really intense and really scary, but it was actually just lots of fun.
Yep.
It was one of Rachel's last filmings before she stepped away from Shabam.
Yep.
So I don't know if that was part of it,
Yep.
where she was just like super relaxed
chilled
out.
Yep.
But we had her and we had Alex from Spain who'd done a number of Shabam filmings and also a couple of other programs as well.
Yeah.
And then the rest of us were Aussies.
Yep. Yep.
And all guys from the team. So it was just like super relaxed, and we were just teaching to the mirror.
Yep.
And she was really happy with it once, like, she'd seen us all do it in the mirror and was like, oh, this is going to be really great. We're going to have like lots of time to be able to just work out some really cool performance stuff. Everyone's moving really well. And she was really happy and really positive right from the word go.
Yeah.
And really happy for us to do what we wanted with the tracks.
Yep.
Because we'd already had conversations with Sarah Robinson, who was our program coach,
Yep.
Beforehand in regards to what we'd say with our tracks.
Yes.
And Rachel had a couple of ideas with bits here and there of just mainly with layer one.
Yep. Were you up on stage for the entire class? Like, were all of you on stage, or were there some tracks where some of you were off and then some of you were back on?
Tracks where we were off and on.
Yep.
And she was literally just like, okay, track one. Yeah, let's all go on. Track two. Who wants to be on for track two?
Yep.
How about you guys stay on track three? Who wants to be on for track three?
Love it.
Like, it was just like,
chilled.
It was so chill. And it was just that feeling the whole week. And we laughed lots.
Yep.
And so all we had to actually, like, we were individually, yes, we were stressed just because we were worrying about like remembering our scripts and trying to work on our scripts and make them better. But that was stuff that we were kind of individually working on or working on with each other. And she just knew, because she'd worked with us lots over the years, that we were going to do great. And made that really clear with us. She's like, I know you guys are going to do great. So just keep doing what you're doing. I have the utmost confidence in you. So let's just have lots of fun.
Yeah. Love it. So what was the tracks that you actually got to teach? What were the ones that you were speaking in? What number tracks were they?
So I had track 3 and track 6, which are kind of in between tracks.
Okay. And for those that are not familiar with the program, what style of dance is it in those individual tracks? Is there a certain... Tell me about it. Tell me as though I'm a dummy and I've never done Shabam before.
So, well, Shabam's got 12 individual tracks.
Yep.
And there's peaks, like track 1's a warm-up.
Yep.
Track 4 is a peak. Track 7's a peak. And track 11 is a peak. And then track 12 is a cool down.
Yep.
Style-wise, they can change all throughout the track.
Yep.
So it just so happened that track 3 was kind of a jazzy sort of street track, and then track 6 was a kind of funk sort of track. But they were we actually all ended up getting tracks that were very much suited to us. Yeah.
How did you go? How do you think you went teaching those tracks in that environment?
I think I went really good.
Yep.
I was really, really happy. I think everyone went really, really good.
Yep.
Like, and things came to me like even just as we were like having like a last minute practice, kind of, not even backstage because there wasn't really a backstage, but in the space outside. Like just a couple of things randomly came into my head that I was like, oh, that's funny. Like if that ends up coming out, that would be cool. And it just so happened that it did, and it came out at the right time and it worked. And it was just it ended up being really good. And we went from start to end. The only times we had to stop was just when they played the wrong song.
And that happens. That's part of filming. That's part of the whole edit process. You can screw things up and, right, stop, let's go again. Just like podcasts. You can do that too.
But otherwise, nobody nobody messed up their tracks, so got off track. And there was just a really good flow to the whole class. The vibe of there was just amazing.
How many people were at that event?
Oh God, I don't know. There was hundreds.
Yeah.
And there were and so many people had come from Melbourne. So I looked out and there were people from my normal class.
Awesome.
Had come up and they were on one side, and then some of my best friends were on another side, and then I could see just everywhere I looked, there were people that I knew.
Yep.
And it was the best feeling. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And then being off stage on the track, so I was off stage and watching my friends on stage teach their tracks, and then watching other people on the floor dance was just the most.
Yeah.
It was the most amazing thing to just be able to see it from that side as well. Would you
do it again?
Yes. It's a weird one because yes, I would, but it was such a good experience that I'd be a bit apprehensive because if it wasn't that good, I'd be.
Yeah. No, totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Totally respect that, and totally gel with what you're saying with that. You had an amazing experience. If you went again, would it top it, or would you be left sort of underwhelmed with it? Sometimes it's better to go, you know what, tick, it was brilliant, I can leave it there.
Yeah.
And yeah. No, that's cool. I think that's a good self-awareness to have as well, to be honest with you. I think that's the moment of you know what, I'm happy with where that was at. Do I need to do it again? I don't need to. If the opportunity arises, it might be cool, but at the same time, would it be ideal? Would it be nice to be asked yes, but if they didn't, or if they asked me and I said no and know that somebody else had an opportunity to experience what I experienced, that's as good as being asked again.
100%.
Yeah. This is the Group X podcast. Do you have a favourite release?
Oh my God, Tony, that's a really hard question.
Out of the 70 something that you've done.
Look, I keep on finding releases and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot about this. This is so good.
Yep.
So no, I don't, because Gandalf is just such a genius of putting moves to music and creating dance experiences for everyone that I can't choose.
Yeah. Is it a program now? As I said, this shows my naivety around it, but also my lack of knowledge in the program. Is it a program where you can mix and match tracks, or is it's this release and this is all you do for this release? Or can you go, hey, I'm going to take track 4 from here and throw it into this, what I'm going to do tonight? Yeah.
So we've kind of got, it's almost structured like halves.
Yep.
Almost like you've got a warm up and then a short standalone track.
Yep.
And then you've got a shorter routine in the first half, a recovery, a longer routine in the second half.
Okay.
To groove down. So pretty much all of those things can be chopped and changed as long as you make a 55 or 45-minute class.
Yeah.
So as long as you switch a longer routine for a longer routine, that's fine.
Yeah.
Shorter routine for a shorter routine, that's fine. Or first half for first half, that's fine.
Yeah.
A warm up for a warm up, that's fine.
But it's not a press play and go and the music doesn't stop the whole way through.
No.
Okay, so it's track and then no. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Not like the days in 1998 when we'd go out dancing all night long and there'd just be one long track. Oh, maybe it wasn't even that, maybe that's just what I remember it as.
Hey, I don't know. I heard a DJ the other day that was that was at the gym because they just got a DJ that morning, and it sounded like that's exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, just one long
I was
track.
like, did you guys pay for this?
Yeah. He just put Spotify and blended them together with your 10-second overlap, and yeah, it worked. It was good. Oh, I love it. Hey, this will be the last question that I throw at you, okay? What bit of advice can you give to an instructor or instructors that may be listening who want to improve on what they're currently doing?
Ooh. What advice can I give them that want to improve? Just keep... Oh, I need to think about this.
That's all right. No, look,
You're gonna have to do some editing.
I can, yeah.
Oh.
I'll put some thinking music on for you.
Okay, advice.
It's a tough question. It's one I enjoy asking because I ask it because it gives a unique insight to you. Yeah. And I say that in not that I judge, but not that anyone would, but it's like when you give feedback to someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't give feedback on the feedback. It's my big thing. Don't give feedback on the feedback. Just fucking accept it. Otherwise, you shouldn't have asked for it in the first place. Yeah. But it's that if I was to give someone feedback and I look at it, or if I was to give someone a bit of advice, apart from just be you and stay in your lane, which is my main thing that I say to people, just do you. Don't give a shit what other people think. Just do you. Yeah, it's one of the hardest things to do is just be yourself and be true to you and what you're doing, because there are factors that influence everything that you do, and you try so hard just to focus on, what doesn't matter. Just do you. Other things pop in. But it's more than that. When for group exercise, I look at it and I think, be true to yourself, but also listen and be present.
Yeah.
In what you're doing. Yeah. Teach to who's in front, but also if you want to be a trainer presenter, think about why you want to be a trainer presenter. Is it just the fame and glory? Yeah. If it's going to be that, it's not going to last long because, bzz, yeah, that's what happens. The mozzie to the light or the moth to the light. Yeah, done. Yeah, cool. Okay, great. But if you're really think about what you're doing and think about your why you're doing what you're doing and hone in on
100%.
that, really focus on it to then be
the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
Because that's going to.
I don't like the word authenticity because I think it's overused. It's thrown around far too much. Authenticity and nuance are two words that I fucking hate.
Nuance?
I fucking hate those words. To be honest with you. It's the nuance in it. It's like, oh, fuck off. No. No. Say what it is. It's the differences, the change, whatever. Don't be a wanker and use those words. But if I ask you the question, and let me ask you again, what bit of advice could you give to instructors that might be listening who want to improve what they're doing?
I think the best advice that I can give is if people can go into their classes teaching them from a space that is them being most themselves.
Yep.
And trying to do that every time without worrying as much as possible. And it's so hard to, go in front of a group of people and not worry what other people think. But the more you can get comfortable with doing that and just pushing it a little bit more every time, whether it be sharing something about yourself, or I don't know, wearing something that is more comfortable for yourself, or not caring about what other people think a little bit more every single time, then you're going to just end up teaching better.
Yep.
Because it's going to come from a truer spot.
Yeah. I like that. Coming from a truer spot.
I've just confused myself.
No. It's we're getting deep there.
Makes sense in my head.
Yeah, no, and it does. It completely made sense. It's teaching from your Teaching from, yeah, I like that word you just said, teaching from that true
from
spot.
your own essence.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like when I have felt my best teaching my class has when I have felt most like carefree,
Yeah.
and I guess like most connected, but also disconnected
Yep.
from myself.
Being in the
Like
moment, as you said earlier
yeah,
on, is that's the big thing I take away from all of this, is that when you teach, you're present.
yeah,
Yeah. You are there. You are
and
there
you can see that
with,
person in the back.
yeah,
You
you
see
are.
every single person in the room.
Yeah, it's everything that we talk about. It all of the other episodes that I've chatted with people. It's the connection. It's the being present. It's being you. It's the authenticity. It's all of that kind of stuff. I can't find the right word to describe it.
Yeah.
Because it's. I don't think it can be summed up in a word.
No.
It's a feeling.
No, there's probably a word in a different language.
Yeah, we could make a different
like
language
Japanese
up.
or Swedish.
I was going to say we could just make up a language now. Yeah, Genevieve Oni. That's what we'll call it. That's what we'll call our new language. You heard it here first, people. This is the Group X podcast. Genevieve, thank you so much for coming on the show and having a chat with me. I've I've laughed my ass off, and I've so enjoyed getting to know you better than what I had done before. I was sitting in the office today, you know, as with all episodes that I've done, sort of going, oh, wow, how's this going to go? And I get nerves, because, yes, it's my podcast and everything, but at the same time, I don't know where it's going to go. You know, I've got a roadmap, as I said, of where I sort of want to take the conversations, but every conversation I've had with everyone has been different. And I can honestly say, hand on heart right now, I have giggled myself senseless for the last 1 hour and 40 minutes with you in getting to know you and sharing your story on this platform with people to listen to. And thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I what's that word that I want? Word finding skills are not my forte, especially later in the evening. But I ditto.
Yeah.
I ditto what you say. You know, whatever word I actually want for that.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it.